Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Farm Bells. It's April and
Hello.
Molly.
We are back.
Back at it again. I was just telling Molly, I lost count of what number we're on, but I will figure it out by the time this posts.
We will figure it out. That's okay.
Yeah. Well, we finally have farm updates. I know the past couple we haven't had like too much farm updates. So we wanted to kind of have a little chit chat episode with all the things that have been going on. It's been our biggest stretch, I think, since we've been doing it that we haven't updated, which hopefully will be a good thing because we've got some stuff to share.
We do have some stuff to talk about. I mean, we had the holidays, there was a lot going on. So we've both just been doing like random things around the farm and kids and life and holidays, and we're ready to talk about it.
Yes, getting ready for the busy summer season while the weather is cold and kind of extra cold lately. I take it you guys have had extra cold lately too.
It is so cold today.
I know. I think here it's going to be 17 tonight. It might already be 17, which never happens here. I think our news said it's like the coldest it's been in like 100 years or something. Maybe not that long, but it's a very cold night.
Yes, the past couple days have been like absolutely freezing. And the nights,
the whole country.
Yeah. Sorry,
which we haven't really had. We haven't had any snow. One day we had flurries coming home. Like, kids, look, let's enjoy.
This is it. It's coming from the sky. That's what I said. I was like, if it's going to be this cold, it needs to snow. Like, there's no point it being like 17 degrees if it's not going to snow.
Exactly. And it's going to rain for us like all week next week, but it's going to be in the 60s.
Above.
So, yeah, where it's not even close.
Dang.
At least it won't even be, I mean, it'll be cold rain, but
not the same.
No, absolutely not. Hopefully no more windstorms though.
Yeah, we did. We had a crazy storm. When was that? Last week?
Yeah,
we had the storm.
It had to have been more than that because my husband hadn't been home yet. We haven't podcasted.
No, we haven't even talked about that. We had a crazy storm come through on the East Coast, southern East Coast, and like we usually don't get tornado warnings or anything like that where we live. We're in Monroe, North Carolina, and I mean sometimes we'll get like hurricanes, but tornadoes are like super rare. And we had like a tornado warning. The kids and I were hunkering down in the pantry. Then the house started flooding. Then a cat flew by. It was like
a cat flew by?
No, that's the thing. But probably our barn cats probably were flying around back there. But it was crazy. Our little chicken yurt lifted up. Like everything was a mess. The dogs got out, of course. The sheep stayed in. The sheep stayed in this time. But yeah, another storm. It was wild.
Good. But you found, so this is the second dog escape, but last time I remember we couldn't find
the dogs have been back, Ghost and Bruno. And so now that, they're home and they're safe, but now they have figured out how to get under the fence. So it's been like an ongoing problem. So now they're in one of our front pastures that has no premier fence in it. Actually, that's a lie. We're using it as a gate, and they figured that out this morning too. So, but they're not going far right now. They're just going to like around the farm, which is good. But we're excited to be completely fenced in.
Good. That whole storm got pretty much the whole country. I'm sure pretty much no one, if you live in America, didn't get that crazy.
Or hear about it at least.
Yeah. And we didn't get it as bad as I thought we would. I get really nervous. We did get hit by a tornado, or like a small tornado a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And it definitely actually traumatized me. Like,
I mean, it did some damage.
It did. The roof, it damaged our roof. I was in the house, though. It was awful. So whenever we are supposed to get like a really bad storm, I get really anxious. And my husband wasn't home at that point. So I was like really freaking out about it. And it was not as bad as I expected. Thankfully, praise the Lord, it really wasn't that bad for us.
That's awesome.
It was like a normal windstorm. We get pretty high winds. I don't know why. It's just kind of the area that we live in for whatever reason. But we did have a tree come down, and it went on our electric fence, which is better than like
like a structure.
Yeah. But I had heard it came down like 10 minutes after the power went out, and it was already nighttime. It must have been like 8 o'clock at night. So the power was out, no lights at all. And you look outside and it's like you have your eyes shut. Like it's really unsettling, like looking outside and not seeing anything. And I heard this, and the kids are freaking out because of course they can't sleep in the wind. And that we hear this super, super loud crash and like metal scraping. And you knew something big happened. And I was just like, I can't see anything. I have no idea. Like, I'll just have to deal with it in the morning.
And the worst part is like, we're the adults of the situation. So we have to stay calm. Like, it's okay. There's just metal and trees flying around. It's okay,
windy
guys.
Outside.
Just a little windy.
Exactly. And luckily our power didn't stay out for terribly long. And when it did, it was pretty early in the morning, but all the lights came on. So I woke up and we all were downstairs.
Yeah.
And that was the first thing that I thought, I'm like, crap, I need to check what happened. So I actually like bundled up, and I know you're not supposed to, but I went outside in the storm because I'm like, I have to figure out what happened. And because I wasn't sure, I was so afraid that one of our trees fell on the neighbor's huge barn because it has like a galvanized steel roof. And I'm like, oh God, I do not want to deal with that. So I looked out, and the tree had fallen on our electric fence and also partially on our tractor. And that's what the metal crashing had been.
The scraping.
Yeah. And at that point, the sheep were all just like huddled in together underneath the tree, which poor sheep should know that's not where you're supposed to be, but whatever. And I'm like, whenever they figure out that it's open, like they're definitely going to be out. But, nothing I could do in the middle of the storm.
No.
So I had to call. My school still had school the next day. And so I had to call. They didn't even have a 2-hour delay, which I couldn't believe.
Yeah, that we did.
And so I called my boss, my principal, and figured it all out. I came in late. I had to fix the fence. I had to gather the sheep back up.
Oh my gosh.
It was like the first time ever that they were cooperative. Usually they give me the runaround because I'm not the one that they're used to.
Right.
But maybe because they've been gone for so long, they're
like, all right, she's head honcho now. Follow her.
Exactly. I hope. Yeah. Let's keep that energy. So I had to, it took forever because I couldn't pull out the fence from underneath the tree. Like I really needed a chainsaw. And you'd think because it's just, like netting, essentially, I could just pull it out. But I could not. And it was also, it probably won't make sense if you guys don't know what it looks like. But back when we had the pig selling, we had a couple extra strands, and I made like a pig chute from all the way back to the front.
Okay.
Well, of course, and that obviously wasn't attached, hot at all because it wasn't attached to the real line. So in a perfect world, it would have been very easy to use that and just like corral them in, get them in. But the tree fell right on both the hot line and the extra line. So I couldn't use the extra lines.
Jeez.
And and the hot line I couldn't get out at all.
And it's so hard to do sheep by yourself because you really need like a second person for when they run.
Yes. Yeah. And when they realize I don't have that much food, so they're like, wait a second, let's hightail it out of there. Yeah. You know what I mean? When I try and get them in with the bucket. So they were already out by when the daylight hit because they just do that. So I had to undo I shouldn't have gone into so much detail because it's hard when nobody knows what it looks like.
I'm following.
But the whole perimeter of our back, since we're not rotationally grazing while Nate was gone, it was just a perimeter. We have like 5 long electric fence, premier fencings that are all connected on the perimeter. So some are down pinned by this tree. So I have to make a new area because I can't get it out, and it's just going to be like down until he can use chainsaw on it
to fix it.
So I have to undo the other side of the fence
and like make a whole new
wall. Exactly. So I had to move where the like box was lined in. Like I had to change everything. It took 3 hours.
I was going to say that it had to take forever. Yeah. And I can't believe y'all didn't have a 2-hour delay at least. Our kids are in speech school, so we get like where it's in the public school system. So we get all the phone calls of like the public school stuff. And they had a 2-hour delay on the day we had speech that day, but that's when we had the flash flood that came through our whole entire property and into our house and was like a whole disaster. And I had to text our teacher and I was like, I'm so sorry. I have so much like damage control that I have to deal with today. Like she's so nice. She's like, it's fine. Just do it at home. But like, I felt so bad because I was like, the 2-hour delay didn't affect us because we don't go till later. But it took me all day to get all the fences right, to clean the house, fix up everything, like get everything back to the way it's supposed to be. Yeah. And it never even rained that hard. Right. I feel like it was like that last storm we talked about, that it was just like a constant rain. And then we're like downhill from all the farms, so we get all the runoff through everything. So eventually it just floods the huge creek at the bottom, and then it just came up. And it was our pond, we call it the bridge. There's a pond that has like drainage pipes that go under the bridge down to the overflow, which usually all the water goes right in and it never comes higher because that's what it's supposed to do. Yeah, but it was coming in so fast that it went over the bridge. The drain pipes couldn't even keep up. And so it was just everywhere. And then we think we figured out what happened with the house. I think it's my fault. So we have, what are they called? They're like the ditches for the rain goes in to get around. And we have one that goes like behind at the side of our house. Okay. And when I was blowing all the leaves, I was like, oh, what a great spot to put all the leaves. It's a perfect ditch in the backyard. Yeah. So I had blown all the leaves into where the water is supposed to drain out. And then the kids had the bounce house like against the house. So instead of like the water flushing away, it was like all piled up there. So Jacob was out there in the storm, like shoveling gravel and moving leaves and like doing all this stuff. And thank God he stayed home. He was supposed to go out of town. And then we got like all the severe weather warnings. And he was like, okay, I have to stay home today. So it worked out. But oh my gosh. What an adventure.
Well, don't blame yourself. Who would have known? And it, like you said, it was the flash flooding. Like, I feel like that wasn't even
normal rain
supposed to be projected.
Yeah. It would have been fine, but jeez, it was a mess.
And I've never thought those really work. We have one kind of like in the middle of our pasture. It's such a pain in the butt because like, it's just, I don't like it. And I feel like our property floods anyway, even without it. So
yes. Yeah. Our pastures do too. But oh my gosh.
Such a mess. I hate the natural weather things that you just totally can't control. It freaks me out.
If the rain could just like space itself out a little bit and not always come in the winter, you know, like I really need it in the summer.
Exactly. I know. We've decided when we do want to move, which is hopefully fairly, within the next 3 years, we're gonna have it like on the market in the springtime. And I don't know what we're gonna do in the winter, because if you come to our house during the winter, like the way it can be a mud pit, like when it rains, and it looks terrible.
Yes.
And I remember our first winter was a big shock because we were like, what did we get in ourselves into?
I thought our ground was ruined forever. He drove the tractor out of the barn one time and I got so upset because I was like, look what you just did to the ground. It is never going to be the same. But I mean, it evens out and the grass comes back right in the spring. But I was like, oh my God, you just ruined our whole entire property.
If you're not used, if you don't know.
It was a shock.
Yeah. And everywhere, I'm sure it's the same with you guys, everywhere around here is the same.
Yeah.
But it's still not very pretty for the city slickers.
No, and it's not a good selling point for people that have not experienced that yet.
Exactly. Exactly. We have a new build, not super close, but it's on our way home from school. And they clearly are into homesteading. They're right off of the main drag, and they have a new build, and they put up all the fences.
All the pretty stuff.
And it's funny because we don't know them. We just drive by all the time. But we've seen them build up, and they've been there for probably like 6 months now. But every couple weeks they've been getting new animals, and just like any new build, the grass is like baby grass. It wasn't it had just been like a farmer's field before.
It's ruined.
And those poor people, I just feel for them. Part of me wants to like leave my name on the door and be like, call me if you ever need
I have advice.
Oh my gosh. You can see because they have 2 cows, a bunch of free range chickens, probably like 30 free range chickens. They have ducks, and they have like a handful of goats, all together in like a 1 acre thing. And When I tell, and this is
I
no
can only
hate to
picture
them, because we did this
everyone
same
has
kind
to
of thing.
learn.
Everybody, yes,
We went
everybody
through it
does
too.
it. It's exciting. You love the new animals, but you don't really understand how even the hooves just tear everything up, and the water holds after that storm.
All of those animals alone, like the chickens in my backyard that I hated. Point A. Ducks are even worse. They are so muddy, and cows just stomp over everything and ruin all grass and mud.
Exactly. Yeah, it is.
I feel for them.
It's just standing water, and you can see their little new makeshift area a little bit further back. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry that just everyone has to witness
it gets better.
Yes, it does.
It gets
better.
Figure
it out. You figure it out. Yeah. And I hate like being like not a peeper. This is the wrong word, but they're right off the main drag.
Drive by. There's a house that we always look at too, and sometimes we don't say the nicest things, but it's like that. It's the house of the neighborhood, that like everybody looks at.
Yeah. I'm sure we are that house too. People
I'm sure people say that too.
Well, I'm glad. Did you have any damage from the flooding?
No, actually, no. And it actually did a lot of good down by our creek where it was so overgrown. Like we had bush hogged it a few years ago, but everything grows so quickly. It grew back, and we haven't had a chance to like clean it up again. But there was so much water and so much force that it's like cleared out now and looks great. And then, last year, like 6 months ago, I don't know, we had a huge storm and a tree fell over our creek, and we have like a brick, like 100 gin mill old thing on our creek, and it's beautiful, and a huge tree landed on it right over it like months ago, and this storm washed it away, so we didn't have to clean it up or anything, so it actually did some good for us.
Cool.
Yeah, well, good. We got lucky.
Yeah, I'm glad we all got.
Animals were safe, house was good, everything was good.
Cats flying.
They probably did, but they came home.
So other than the chicken you're floating in the air, is that working well for you guys?
Not really.
Okay.
It's there. It's still there, but it's been really windy the past like week or so. And it keeps just the tarp is like lifting it. And it was just cheap. It's just materials we had.
Yeah.
So we want to make a mobile chicken coop that goes, behind the cows and the sheep from pasture to pasture. So that's on the plans too, that's going to be soon. We just have to find a trailer with wheels so we can build it and move it.
Yeah, I know. I think we talked about it in the chicken meat bird episode, but it's all about figuring out the right design. I mean, that's half the battle right there. So good luck with that. It is half the battle. Tell me if you find a good design. I would love to hear about it. I will.
Jacob likes to wing it, so we might just come up with our own. But as long as it's movable and it holds my chickens and it has the nesting boxes, those are my requirements. Yes. And doesn't look like our duck coop.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It doesn't have to be beautiful, but it
doesn't look like a hobo
just
lives
something
there.
Yes something like okay.
Yeah, Nate and I finally talked about if we're going to get meat chickens or not, and I think we are going to get one batch,
like a reasonable amount.
Yes, a reasonable amount, and that's going to be on the docket pretty soon of ordering, not like getting them, but ordering.
So did you just say how many are you going to get?
He said like a surprisingly low number, like 20, but I don't believe that, because then he's going to do the math of, well, we want 20, so we better order 30, and then if we're going to do that, it'll be a better, how that goes.
They just get 50.
Yeah. I think as long as we get 50 or less, I would be happy. That'll be good. And Eve, I really don't want to put it in the world, because I think one batch of 50 would be good and like fair, because we still do have some chicken that we're eating off of. But I think my top limit would be 2 batches of 50.
Yeah.
I think that is, I don't want any more than that.
We were just talking about that too, like, because it's almost time for us to order them too, because we usually like to get them in spring. Everything's in April around your birthday is like pretty much when we do everything.
Yeah.
And we were trying to figure out, I'm going to have to count how many chickens we have back in the freezer left, because I kind of want to do it later in the year. So we're butchering like in the fall.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
So we kind of just need to see how many we have and then go from there. But we're going to do 100 again. And then we talked about either splitting it up or just doing it all at once. And I think we're just going to do it all at once so that we can just be done. The problem is the actual butcher days.
Yeah.
Like having all 100 at once, grown and ready to go, is a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're trying to figure that out too, but we're about to order them.
I'm going to ask Nate about that. I think that's if you're only going to do 1 or 2 batches, I think that's and then they'll be here in probably like the peak heat, which is good for the chickens.
Which is good for chicks. They might live, the survival rate as baby chicks might be better.
Right.
Because nights in April can still get really cold.
Yeah. And I don't know if y'all have this problem, but one of the hardest things, especially in the way our chicken tractor is, was we just have like galvanized steel on like PVC pipe. It's really low to the ground.
Yeah.
And we have, I guess they'd be 5-gallon chicken waters that we like take in. And I think you guys have some, if I remember from your chicken pictures on Instagram.
Sounds like what we have.
And so we have to fill them up, but we usually end up having to have 2 or 3 in each tractor because they do drink so much and it's hot and it evaporates. And that's a pain because we only have 2 hoses and really 1 for the front because we usually keep the chickens in the front. Yes, and that is like the bane of my existence.
That is such a pain.
And
yes, and the hoses are so heavy. Why are they so heavy?
Yes, and getting it over the electric, it's just a nightmare. So I don't know why I had never thought about having it later in the year if we're only going to have a couple
until this
batches.
year. But when we were doing it this summer, he bought like a huge fan, so there was no bugs and it was really cool. But I was like, what if we did it like in a couple months? You know, like when everything else is kind of dying down, like because the garden is crazy from spring till August. Yeah. So even if we started chicks still early spring, it wouldn't be much different than starting them, July, August. Like the garden doesn't factor in because it's still busy.
Right.
So I was like, if we have enough meat, we also don't want to buy more meat and overlap and have that much extra too. So I just have to count and see how much we have back there.
Oh, good idea.
And then go
I
from
might
there.
be doing that also.
Go from there. Yeah. I like the idea. I know it was a good one.
Yeah.
We're still talking about it.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Works. Gotta have
I guess it really just depends on how much we have.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there.
Yeah.
And then we're also talking about cows because we don't currently have any beef cows and it's time. We need to get another 1 or 2. We're talking about maybe getting 2 steers, just raise them up and just do that for the next, since we don't know our 5-year plan really. We're like, at least we're going to run out of beef this year. And so that means we have to plan for next year, which means we need a cow now.
Yeah, exactly. Nate and I have talked about that too. And we are, for the listeners, I know Molly knows this, but listeners might not. We are like in the process of like really buckling down and trying to like move soon, like within the next year or so.
Right.
And because we were just talking about that because we're running low on beef. And I think tentatively we have made the decision to not get another cow as of right now, because hopefully we'll be moving by the time that it would be ready. Things might change.
That makes sense.
Because he has found deals of like almost ready steers and just kind of like butchering them pretty quickly if they become available. So that could always be an option. But right now we're not going to get any more young ones that I know of because we have a bunch of bear and venison that we kind of use.
I was going to say there's deer and other meat sources.
And before we were into homesteading, before we even had this property, Nate's like cousin owns a cattle farm in like Northern Virginia. And so we actually used to get half cows from him before.
Oh,
so
cool.
we were
that's
talking,
always like an option.
So I think we're going to get a half cow maybe in the fall or next year or something, just to kind of have that more local meat. I guess local is a free term, but
I mean, like,
you know what I mean?
We know where it comes from. Yeah. And that was another thing, like hay this year, we've barely bought any hay because like we do 10 bales at a time, and we've only gone through, I think we're on like number 4, or maybe he just gave the 5th, but like last year we were flying through hay because we had like 6 or 7 beef cows. We had all the goats, we had the sheep, we had just got Marley. Like we had so many animals that were eating so much hay. And this year, I mean, Marley, so far it's been 2 hay bales a month is all we've gone through.
No way, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So one for the sheep, one for Marley, and that's all that we've done. So our hay guy just texted us last night or the night before and was like, "Hey, do y'all need the other 10 bales?" And we were like, maybe 5, like just to be safe, like because we still have like 8 or 9 back there. So we were like, maybe just a few more. I don't know. Like we really don't need it, which has been so nice, because if we had beef cows that are either pregnant or nursing, or there's just so many of them, they just eat so much hay.
Yes. Oh, wow. Well, that's
so
really
it's made
cool.
It is really cool. It's made a huge difference. So maybe we could figure out, like, it's been nice to not pay for hay, but you know, the whole rotational grazing thing is supposed to help in the winter. So we'll see how it goes. But right now we are saving on hay, which is huge.
Good. Is the spring grass growing yet for you guys, or is it still like dead of winter?
No, still pretty dead everywhere. And some spots it kind of is, but not anything to like talk about. It's still pretty dead till usually we do our first cut around March, and then it'll slowly grow back, but not really anything till May. We always plan through May.
We have been getting some grass growing, which is strange. And I don't know, other than this cold snap that we've had, it has been on the warmer side. So I don't know if it's for us. I do not know how to identify grass. I don't know if it's spring grass or like some kind of winter. Because I think we did, one year we did winter rye. Yeah, I don't think it's rye, but so we have some green grass
something growing.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I know. And so Nate just needs to pull the sheep up from where I now have them. It's like a smaller area
from small paddock.
Yeah, I have them in a fairly small area right now, but once we move them up front, they do have, and actually in that paddock that I put them in, I put it up on Instagram. There was a lot of grass that just never died in the winter. I do not know what kind it is, but it stays green like year round, and it's just in that area. So they were loving that.
Oh, that's awesome.
And we had our hay guy, the peanut hay guy.
Old man.
He's been back around and
shoveling hay at 2 a.m.
Luckily, so I don't think did I tell the story about the round bale?
I don't think probably the round bale.
It's not a funny story like the last couple, but he did after the cup. I think he brought like 3 rounds of the peanut hay that he was shoveling. And then he ended up coming during the daytime when I was already outside with the kids, and he brought us a round bale. And it was a fine interaction. And every time I do see him, I'm like, oh my gosh, he's just really hard to communicate with because I don't think he can hear very well. And he also has like a very thick accent, and it's really hard.
Just like smile and wave.
Well, I was trying to figure out, I'm like, okay, I need to buck up and talk to this man because he's gonna want money for this. Like, even though we don't want this, he is still providing it, so we need to figure this out.
Right.
And so I was trying to ask him like what, and it was hard to even for me to articulate like, thank you for the hay, we don't really need any right now. And it was just a mess. And I had forgotten.
Oh, that's so hard.
Another fun fact that I'd forgotten the last couple times I talked about is Hey Man. Again, he's very old. He thinks Nate's name is Spencer. And we don't know why, if that was, he just misheard it or something, but he has always called Nate Spencer, and he'll say, Mr. Spencer. Roll with it. Well, Nate corrects him almost every time, and finally we just like, hey, it's Spencer here. It's Spencer. Hey, it's Spencer, what he calls him. So that's, I'd forgotten
that. That's so funny.
I know. And so anyway, it's not a very good story, but I did talk to him. He said he wanted a piglet in exchange for all this hay. And I was like, well, the bad news is that we're not really doing the pigs anymore.
We're kind of done with that.
So he wants a pig, but we kind of ended it on, when Spencer comes home, I'll have him give you a call. So it's not a very good story, but we do have some brown bales and still some peanut hay that I'm going to be using to mulch. I've already started a little bit of mulching now that Nate came home last week. Spencer, Nate, whoever you want to call him.
Spencer is home.
And I've started mulching with the peanut hay that has gone rotten, because I think we talked about it last time. It's just like a big pile. And so it's like very rapidly decomposing, but it'll be perfect mulch. And
just spread it around.
Yes. And I am excited about that. I've cleaned out a couple beds. I don't think I had done any more since the last time that we all talked together, but it's on my list. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I got seeds, even though I said I was not going to do that.
So what did you get?
I know I got them together.
You got some tomatoes. You got some random tomatoes.
I did. So this bad boy is really what caught my eye when I went down the Walmart aisle. It is beefed up beefsteak, and it's the back. You know, I love to read the back.
Yes, I love that too.
Bigger than your average beefsteak, this hybrid indeterminate plant produces huge red fruits weighing up to 2 pounds with smooth blossom ends. These giant tomatoes have mild flavor with solid meat. So nothing like super crazy, but I had noticed when we did our episode on the seeds, when I was looking through what I have the Celebrity, which I love, and that's like a nice one. But other than that, I've pretty much run out of nice ordinary tomatoes. So I thought this would be a good, fun one to try. And then I needed a new cherry tomato. I'm kind of over the sweet hundreds. I like them. I like the flavor of them, but I don't really like how big and round they are. Like when I grow them, not to sound snotty about cherry tomatoes, but they're just like too big.
Yeah.
And I don't like always when
they're supposed to be little.
Yeah. I don't like when I'm just having a snack. I don't like to have to bite into it or cut it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I saw these, and they are called Jelly Bean.
What a cute name.
I know, but then when I read the back, I actually immediately regretted it, because these are the a strain that they also use at the supermarket. So when you get like the little clamshells, these I guess are what some farmers grow, which that in itself is not the problem. Great. I love those tomatoes. Yeah. I would love to have them at home. But the reason why I was kicking myself was because it's so easy to just to grow those. And I have done that many times. I just throw in a cherry tomato that I buy at the store and put it in the ground. And we have some downstairs in my pantry. And I'm like, why did I pay $3? Well, not $3, $1.96 for this when I could have
just thrown it in the ground.
And I also missed, it's pelleted. I am not a fan of pelleted seeds. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, with the coating around the seeds. But usually, I've never seen it on a tomato seed. Usually it's on like carrots and things that have really small seeds.
Yeah, can you see it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually they pellet it, like you said, for really small seeds like lettuce or carrot, so you can pick them up easier, and it's supposed to help them germinate. It's supposed to help make them germinate as well. I don't know the science behind that necessarily, other than maybe it like holds on to the water so that it can go into the seed more.
Yeah,
but tomatoes are very easy to sprout. You don't need them pelleted, and it feels like it's a normal weight, but there's only 15 seeds. I paid $2 for 15 seeds. Do you know how many seeds are in one grape tomato in my kitchen?
50.
So I am regretting this, and
just let like Mallory do it.
I know.
That'd be hers.
That's a good point. Just have them use,
since you don't care about them.
That's a good idea. On top of all that, I have already started some, and these are the only ones that have not germinated.
Would you look at that?
I've already planted 2 because 1 didn't pop up, and I'm like, okay, maybe I like messed something up. Planted another one, still hasn't germinated. Garbo.
But then you just plant it from the store and they germinate.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And
what sense does that make?
Exactly. Annoying. Oh. I also am trying a new cucumber because I'm terrible at cucumbers.
What's that one?
Cross country hybrid. I got it because I had never heard of it before. So maybe something I've never heard of before will actually work. It does not have anything very interesting on the back. So we'll see. Just another randomly pickling cucumber. And then I had run out of yellow squash, and I know
I remember seeing that one.
This is actually like a zucchini 49er hybrid. So it's just like a yellow zucchini. And I've never had a yellow zucchini.
I've never had that either. I like the shape. That's cool.
Yeah. It's got like a little green butt on it. I kind of like it. I like it. Looks good
that's
on Instagram.
Cute. That's very cute. They just caught your eye. You just had to buy some seeds. You couldn't resist. I was a bad influence.
Exactly. I know. Well, they were all like $2. So I'm like,
I know, it's so hard to not.
Yeah, exactly. I was actually looking, today I went to Walmart, and last year when I was buying seeds, I only bought like just to cut like 2, I literally like 1 or 2 packs because I would keep thinking about it and putting them back. And I almost bought the big rainbow tomato, which is, did you see
I did.
Yeah. I had been thinking about it, and that's one that I didn't buy that I ended up regretting.
Why? Oh, you were regretting. Okay. I thought you were saying there was a reason you didn't buy it. Okay.
Just because I didn't really need it. But now I regret it, and they didn't have it at Walmart today. And it's run out at Burpee. So maybe I will find it, but I guess I really don't need it necessarily. But that'll be on my list for next year.
I knew I wasn't gonna not buy seeds. I knew I wanted to get some tomatoes, but I didn't want to go overboard buying stuff. And so I actually haven't bought anything from M.I. Gardener before. And I usually, I don't know why, everywhere else I have, but I just haven't from there. And so I went on his website and I went kind of crazy and my seeds are all in my seed packet, but we eat a lot of baked beans with a lot of things. And I didn't know what beans you used for that. And it's navy beans.
And I didn't know that.
Most of my usual places I go to for seeds don't carry navy beans. And the only person that did carry navy beans was M.I. Gardener. That's what got me on his website. And so they look great and I'm so excited. And so I got those, some new onions because I have terrible luck with onions. Like they'll grow, but they're like so little. I don't know. I think I'm just planting them at the wrong time. I think it's a me problem. I got some thyme because I don't have any of that. New cauliflower, cabbage, broccoli. And then I went crazy with tomatoes. I got like so many tomatoes. I got a few Romas. One's called 10 Fingers of Naples, which sounded really cool. One classic Roma one. One that I loved is the Homestead tomato. It's like, it looks like a classic red little celebrity looking tomato. And I remember the back said that every homesteader needs this tomato. It's great in sauces. Like it's great for canning. I'm like, okay, sign me up to add. And then I got a watermelon beefsteak. It's like huge red, big rainbow, orange, yellows, reds. Looks beautiful. Black Sea Man, black from Tula tomato. It's like a dark red.
I like those. Yeah.
And then I got some chamomile and stinging nettle.
Ooh, what are you going to use stinging nettle for? I know it's medicinal. Okay. Do you know what it does?
For all the tea I drink.
Yeah. But I've heard
but I'm going to try
before, and like I don't think it grows wild here. I know in like England it does. I'm sure in parts of America it does.
I'm sure somewhere it does, but I want to have like a medicinally herb garden with like my cut flower garden because I have so many cut flowers that I've never planted. So I want to do those like on the outsides of my tomatoes are in the greenhouses, and then I have beds on the outside. So tomatoes in the greenhouse, and then flowers and herbs like on the outside. So hopefully it'll be like my pretty space. And then the real garden will be for all the food we eat. But I'm excited. And then we went to Lowe's and I got some oregano and I don't even remember what else I got. Mint or something. But I just have a problem. It's so hard when it's like $1.50. I'm like, okay, well, what am I going to lose? $1, you know?
It is so exciting.
And it's so fun. And this is like the time that I get the most excited, when it's like gross outside and cold, and we all have cabin fever from being inside, and I'm like planning garden everything.
Yeah. So much hope.
So much hope and beauty coming.
Yeah. Have you started anything? Not yet.
No, but I really want to.
I have my little plans. I did some. I know. I brought them over for my little show and tell. These are my cold thing. I just did just a tiny little flat. I just have some spinach and some broccoli. That's all I did.
That's a good idea.
So it needs to be. One of my spinach isn't looking too good though. It's a little bit droopy, but
spinach and broccoli. That was a good idea.
Yeah, just a little thing. I need to blow on them a little bit more. One of them I forgot. I didn't think to put on my lights because I forgot how fast the broccoli germinates, and so this guy's a little leggy. But other than that, everyone's looking pretty good.
Oh, that's so exciting!
Yeah.
Oh, good job!
Yay!
That's awesome. I want to start seeds so bad.
Do it.
But that was another thing. You know, we've been trying to figure out our 3 to 5 year plan of if we're staying or moving or what we're doing with our life. And he wants to build me like a beautiful window tin glass greenhouse thing to start seeds. And we're like, do we want to invest all this time and money into this if we're moving? But whoever moves here would appreciate it, I'm sure. If you're moving out to the homestead garden, you know, permaculture life, like they're not going to be mad if there's a greenhouse, but so we're trying to figure it out. But chickens first, and then the greenhouse. But then I'm like, I kind of need the greenhouse now so I can start seeds.
Yeah. And did you say, is your greenhouse functional, or it still needs?
No, the greenhouses, I should call them like a broken hoop house. We only one is set up, and it's just silver hoops that I can string them up. The tarp to one is broke, but we have an unopened box, so we have to build the second one, and that one will be a working greenhouse. So that one will be great for like in the fall. I can extend the garden, but I won't be able to, you know, have like a heat lamp in there. I don't.
Yeah. That'll still be so nice to have. You'll be really glad that you have it.
And we're expanding the space, and we figured out a new spot for my corn. We're going to do it just in the ground, which gives me like 5 more of my raised beds in the garden.
Oh, nice.
So we made good plans.
Excellent.
I should have brought my little sheet over. It's all over there.
Oh, yeah.
It's cute. Check it out on my Instagram.
Yeah, I know. I feel like I've seen it. We have, I think I'm going to have Nate do a lot of projects for me, because I want this to be a good gardening year. Yeah. And I feel like I need raised beds. I need to do something different in my garden, because I don't want to have so many plants. I feel like I have so many plants, but my yields could be better. And I need to hone in and
really does help keep organized.
Yeah.
But then it's funny because I have raised beds because our ground sucks, and I wish that I didn't. I wish I could just have rows and rows in the ground of everything. So you always want what you don't have.
I know. Yeah. It'll be. I would like to do something. My garden just needs a revamp. It's time for a makeover.
Refresh. It's got to be somewhere that you want to spend time to get out there. Yeah. Jacob bought this like I don't know what it's called, like a blowtorch fire thing that you can like for like weeds and stuff on our gravel driveway and stuff. And so I'm so excited because in the garden, the weeds are popping through the gravel, and I won't have to go hand pick all the weeds. He can just go out there and get all the weeds with the blowtorch.
Hey, and was that expensive?
$40 on Amazon. No. I'll let you know how it works. It's coming in a couple days. And we also have thistles, you know, those prickly plants. We have those all over the pasture, and they all went to seed and they took over. So like our back pasture is like thistle. So once they start growing again this spring, he's going to go out there with a bucket of water and the blowtorch, he said, and destroy all the thistles, which are actually medicinal. The flowers are medicinal, but I don't want the prickles.
No, I know. What a nightmare. And they probably get all on the animals.
They get all on the animals. It's taking over the grass. It's taking over my view. They just got to go.
Yeah. Torch them.
But yes, I'm really excited about this torch.
I we might have to get one too. It's always
I thought they were way more expensive than that. Then his friend got one and he said it was $40 and we did. And he spent $5 more. So it was $45 to have the trigger or like the handle where you can turn it on and off instead of it like constantly being on.
Oh yeah, we'll do that.
So we spent the extra $5.
I think that will be worth it.
So I'm really excited. We'll let you know how it goes. But he needs to do our driveway.
Yes, that's what we need it for. I need it more for like our walkway. I'm constantly out there picking the weeds and throwing them to the chickens.
So annoying.
Well, is there anything? How's Carnivore? We've been holding off talking about it because I want to hear.
Oh, I'm so excited. So I don't know. Did I tell everybody I was going to do it already?
Yes.
So Carnivore, I started January 1st on the Monday. I didn't skip a day. I woke up and I said, all right, let's go. I will come clean. I do drink coffee and I do drink wine. So I have not cut out those. And I think if I would have even better results. But I've been strictly carnivore, pretty much everything from the farm. I did buy some fish, like here and there, but like for the most part, it's beef, chicken, lamb, turkey, everything from the farm, cooked in butter from milk that we have. So I make my own butter and I cook everything in the butter. And I can drink the milk. I make cheese. We have eggs. And I use herbs and garlic and that kind of stuff still, and bone broth. So that's been pretty much my diet. And so it's been surprising to me that I haven't felt hungry. I was worried that I was going to feel hungry because when I was breastfeeding our boys and they had food allergies and I was on the crazy food allergy diets, I felt starving all the time. Probably breastfeeding didn't help, but I was eating like squash and things that weren't very filling. Like if you have steak and eggs, like that's filling and you're getting plenty of fat and calories. But so the reasons that I was doing it was because I had babies back to back. So my womanhood took a break for 5 years and my hormones were all out of whack this past year. And I also have really bad inflammation, like in my hands, I have bad carpal tunnel and stuff. And this is supposed to help like reset pretty much everything. And within the first 2 days, I felt insanely better. I was sleeping better. I did not have a 3:00 crash in the afternoon anymore. I don't need a second cup of coffee in the day. I feel perky and energized. I mean, I'm tired right now. We've had a long day, but like up until dinner time, I feel happy and energized and more like my normal self. My hands don't hurt. Like I was at the point where stirring noodles would hurt my hands and I can move them again. I'm not having headaches as much. My brain fog feels like it's not as bad. Like I feel overall so much healthier and I feel full like all the time. Like tonight at dinner, I had to force myself to eat because I guess I'm getting so much like calories and fat from it that I'm not hungry like that. And, I mean, I've lost 5 pounds, but nothing crazy. And it's not about the weight. I'm settled with my mom bod, if I wanted to lose weight, I would do a different diet, but I feel, like toned, like my weight has shifted, like all my muscles are more defined now. Overall feels so good.
Cool.
So my goal was to do it for the whole month of January. I think I might do it for 2 months to let it get like the full effect. And then add in some vegetables, but even things like tomatoes are really inflammatory. So for things like carpal tunnel, that's not great. Like obviously tomatoes aren't bad for you. I'm not saying that, but they are, if you have problems like this, they're inflammatory. So I will slowly start to add in some easy, like squash and easy things on your gut and inflammatory things, and see how that goes. And then Jacob wants me to try, since I'm in the willpower mode, he wants me to try doing the opposite, and go all like veggie vegan? And and no meat and see if there was a difference in the way I feel or anything.
Wow. So, that would be an interesting little test.
I know, it'd be a fun experiment because we watched this thing on Netflix. It was like a documentary show about identical twins.
Yes. Yes. What's on the menu or something. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
But it wasn't as controlled as we wanted it to be, So I kind of want to be the guinea pig here. And I mean, I would have to cut out coffee and wine to make this like fully work, I guess. But I'm feeling so much better without doing that, that I'm sure if I did, I would feel even better. But I honestly feel like so good. I'm surprised.
Yay. That is so cool. I think it's really important to hear real life stories like that. Cause I I've been trying to bootleg that because we don't have Netflix. I might steal your Netflix so I can watch it.
Do it.
But I've heard a lot of people talking about it. And so I've been watching like reviews on YouTube and stuff. And through YouTube, I have heard that the people who funded that study are also like connected with like the fake meat industry and like all that new.
We
so
felt
it's like
really, they were like pushing the veganism and downing meat so much, like so much. I wish it was more like controlled, like I said, like fair, but it was really interesting to watch. And what else was I gonna say? Oh, I don't remember. I had something else I was gonna say. Oh, I don't know. It'll come back to me eventually.
It'll come back to you.
But I'm sleeping better. The second day, my stomach was hurting really bad. And so I guess it was like clearing everything out. And then that went away. And my cravings. So like the first couple of days are always really hard when you cut stuff out, obviously, because you're like, everyone's eating everything and I'm eating like a piece of ham. But then after that, like now it's just a lifestyle. Like today we went to brunch and they had steak. So I ate steak and a piece of bacon.
Cool.
And and then so the only time that it really affects me is like now, like when I get off of this, I'm gonna want to go like get in bed, eat some chips and like crunch on something, and there's nothing crunchy in my diet. I can't make anything crunchy besides like crispy bacon, which is like you're not supposed to really eat a lot of bacon or like processed deli meats and stuff. So I miss like the crunch. But other than that, I'm surviving.
Y'all are gonna have to have a Valentine's Day in so you don't see all the chocolate.
Oh, I know. We were at my cousin's wedding last weekend and they had like cake and all like a taco truck. And I had to ask for like only the meat at the taco truck. And the guy looked at me. I was like, can I have some chicken and beef? And they were like, what? I was like, don't ask. Just give me the meat.
It's funny.
My cousin was like, you're a vegan's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
I was like, literally.
We'll see. I think that'll be a really cool journey. I think people will really be interested to hear. And it's funny how different bodies take to different things, like you were saying how tomatoes are inflammatory for like arthritis and things like that, and I have Hashimoto's and thyroid issues, so I can't eat a lot of kale and broccoli and stuff like that because that's harmful to my body. And it's never a blanket thing, and I don't think a lot of people realize that, and it's hard to
That's a good way to put it. It's not a blanket thing because I learned everything from the kids having issues. Like, just because it affects someone doesn't mean it affects you. And then you might not find out till later that it's affecting you. And it is so complicated, the whole food world.
It really is. And just finding what's right for you. And I think it's really an accomplishment for you to be motivated and take those steps, because not a lot of people do. We know this, and we know eating healthy or changing our diet in some way could help us, but not a lot of people have the willpower to do it.
If only I could get myself to like do a workout video. Baby steps though. Okay. I'll cut out wine next and then I'll maybe do a workout video.
Nate is on a health kick right now, which means I am also on a health kick because he can't just be the only one getting in shape, right?
No.
So we're kind of on the opposite now of you. We're doing more vegetables, and he has a whole plan he's doing to help, for what his body needs. And I'm just trying to get back because I had been really slacking on my veggie intake. When I was having health problems last year, I had I had a thyroid lump that was possibly cancer. It's turned out to not be, thank God, but I thought it was for a while we were waiting for all the
terrifying
things. And so I really got my butt in gear. Nothing to motivate you to eat healthy like cancer.
Oh my God, that had to be so scary.
I went like I really, really cleaned up my diet, and then slowly after I had my surgery and after we found out it wasn't cancer, slowly I've been going back to how I had been. So I think this will be good and right in time to get a good garden going. And
see, that was Jacob's point. He was like, maybe try to do this, for the next few months to really see how it feels for your body. And then by then you'll have veggies in the garden, and then you can just switch over and see how you feel with that. But see, I really think that I'm feeling good because I'm getting enough calories. Like when I was breastfeeding and I was just eating squash and like pears and hardly anything, like I felt like poop because it wasn't calorically enough to what I do every day. And now I'm getting like fat and calories. So I feel good and I feel energized. But also I can't just live off of this forever, like this isn't like a forever thing. It's just a reset.
Do you take a vitamin too? Or
I do not.
No,
I do not. I'm really bad at remembering if I took a pill or not. So I just stopped.
No. Yeah. Fair enough. Whatever's working. If your body
but
feels
I do
good.
like, I wish that I did. We used to take like vitamin D and all the pills, and I had like a whole setup, and that is something that I want to get back on track of because I'm bad about eating during the day. And then pre-carnivore, I'm busy during the day. So then I would have headaches and be tired. And then nighttime comes and I just like snack out.
Yeah, that's what a lot of busy moms are in, that same kind of boat. And we're just eating like the goldfish off their kids' plate, or
the leftovers from the kids. That has been a challenge. Like not accidentally just taking a bite. Like when I clean up their plate, I used to just like you said, just take a bite and put it away. That's been hard to like remember to not do.
Well, I bet the chickens have been getting good food. All those leftovers
have been well fed, and we miss having a pig. Because we would feed the pig all the chicken bones, and now we can't do that. But now we can feed the chickens all like the ham and stuff. So trade off.
Trades off. Works out. Yeah. Well, we are almost at our hour. I was so excited to hear that your carnivore diet is going good, though.
I'm so happy because that would have really sucked if I did all of this with like no results.
Or like doing it for a long time, being like, okay, when is it going to feel good?
Like, when do I feel happy? But honestly, it was pretty instantly. Like my body detoxed itself on day 2.
Wow. Oh man, maybe I'll try that.
So if that's motivation, you can do it.
Yeah, I think that's, especially when you have all that fresh stuff. I mean, oh my gosh, having a cow must be such a game changer.
It's huge. If I didn't have a farm or a milk cow, I wouldn't be doing it. It'd be so expensive, and
it would be very expensive.
You still don't even know where your food would be coming from. So this has definitely been the reason that I'm doing it. Because there's a lot of diets out there that are supposed to help anti-inflammatory and all that kind of stuff. But this one was convenient for me.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I can't wait to hear updates. So you're trying to do it through...
I'm going to try to do it through February.
Okay.
We're going to see how long I can last.
All right.
I'm putting it out there. Yeah. Next podcast, I'm like eating ice cream.
Yeah. Well, it's been really good catching up with you. This one, we just chit-chatted. That went by really fast.
That did go fast. We could keep talking forever.
Yeah. And I had been planning on talking about, I'm looking at my phone. I did I don't know if you saw it. I'm sure you probably did on Instagram, but I got sucked into the homesteading, what do you call it? Like, sorry, I'm trying to, summit. It was like a thriving farmer vegetable summit, and a couple influencers. I have it up on my phone. That's where I'm looking. Well, I guess I don't know anybody. Jill Rogan or Reagan from, she's one of Jessica Sauer's friends.
Jill, the one that bought her house?
Yeah. I think it was on her Instagram that I had seen it. But anyway, it was like a 3-day long symposium online thing that I did, and it was super cool, and I was going to talk about it, but
so cool.
We don't have any
We'll have to do that next time.
Yeah, I'll share some of my cool takeaways that not to totally rip them off, but there was one,
the cliff notes.
Yeah, the cliff notes, that I need to do some research on this one dude, and had like the craziest tomatoes I had ever seen. I'm gonna have to send it to you because I'm trying to find his name, but I can't find it on here. I'll have to find it.
Yeah, you'll have to send me that. I know. I totally ate my words when I was like, I'm just gonna grow like basic things for food, and then I'm like, big rainbow, and I see all these pretty things.
It's so tempting.
It's so hard. But I did a good balance. I got a lot of like things that should grow, and if they don't grow, I just need to stop growing tomatoes, and then some fun ones.
It'll be a good tomato year, especially now that you're not
good tomato year. I know, since I can't even eat them.
That's the way to make them grow if you can't eat them.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, maybe we'll talk about that next time, or we'll have a topic or something. But
that sounds good.
Yeah, thank you guys for hanging in there with us. Follow us on Instagram and like us and subscribe to us. It really helps.
Comment and do all the things.
Us. Yeah, let us know any questions you have, like a Q&A. I'm still dying to do a Q&A,
for
but
us,
we don't
or
have
for like
cues.
Spencer.
yeah, for us, Spencer. I need to. He's at hockey right now, but he will do. He'll do one eventually with us, our husbands.
So Jacob will. Yes, we'll get the husbands on here eventually. That will be a fun one.
Sounds good. Well, we will see you all next time. Bye.
All right. Bye.